call the November
Zoom in.
25th stakeholder meeting open. So I think we got everybody here from except for Carol and Mike Hutnack and Adam Furno. So the first item of business, the second item there underneath our agenda is the bylaws. So I just want to get a feeling, because we've got the one we've been working on, the draft, but we also have Oxbridge's. So there's a little separation between the two. The one that we've been kind of inherited has been kind of more of a, that's the one we've been doing some changes to versus Oxbridge. Oxbridge is I've gone through Oxbridge's before, and I think you looked at it too, Matt. It's really drafted by the planning board and input from the planning board, where this one's more conservation, because we're still getting into removing some of the stuff. So the question is it going to be, would it be easier to take Oxbridge's and add the changes in because it's more of a planning board focus and a stormwater planning board focus, versus the one we inherited was more conservation, stormwater, you know, wetlands, vegetation stuff.
I think
that's why I asked Matt to make copies of the Oxbridge one, because I think, you know, we could take all the good parts that we've kind of highlighted and put in the Oxbridge's version, call it our own.
I mean, I didn't go through all Oxbridge's.
Yep.
How would I say, percentage-wise, how much of a difference are we talking about? 10%, 80%?
I think the difference that I find in Oxbridge's, I've read through it pretty thorough. It's easy reading.
Yep.
Okay. It's specifically designed for stormwater. Not what we had was it encompassed way too much.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've taken something that
I do know that. Yeah.
encompasses all this area, and then we're trying to redefine it to stormwater.
To make it right.
So this is just, if you go through this is specifically easy reading to go through stormwater.
Yep.
And it actually, it has a sequence of events that you can actually follow through.
Yep.
And I think it's a little bit palatable for town meeting. It doesn't have the harsh verbiage in.
Correct.
You know, we're gonna come on your property, you're gonna give us a permit.
Which we have, right.
That's a deal killer, I think. I think people, you can have the best bylaw that you wanna put forward.
Oh, no.
When you put language like that, that's all they see.
Yeah.
And then they'll vote against it no matter what it is. So I mean, if you look through the Uxbridge one, it is very palatable. And it's geared strictly towards stormwater management.
And I think if you just take the first section, like 1A to 1A comparison, I mean, the one that we inherited, we get into, you know, general welfare, protection of aqua resource areas, wildlife, protection of, you know, quality and health, water resources, and, you know, groundwater, all these other things, and fostering climate change, you know.
You still say that?
Yeah, that's.
He did say it under the one that
Thought
called.
we-
But that's what I mean.
Well,
That was,
ours we already had it, we talked about having that already removed.
right, but it wasn't removed. There's a lot of stuff that was added, and there was a lot of stuff that wasn't removed.
Right, that's why we're asking for the red highlight.
Yeah.
Red and the scratch out.
Right.
Between the two, for a comparison to make it legit, to see what's really going on.
So everything we've done up to this point, then we're scratching and going back to...
No, I think...
No, because we highlighted, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, because I think we highlighted some good exemptions. We highlighted, the key is what's more palatable. What was the person's intent on when they were created, right? One was more driven, you know, that we inherited, was driven more conservation and wetlands, and you know, the other one's more planning board, stormwater. So there's good parts that we've already kind of have started evolving. We can easily look at Uxbridge's and, you know, add to it.
Well, then I think the only way to do it would be to start tonight.
Yeah.
One and one,
Yeah.
line to line. Let's go through page by page. If we're gonna add, delete,
Yeah,
add and delete, then try to come up with a final product.
that's fair.
I mean, to just say, here, we got this, we're
No,
gonna
no,
do
no.
A, B, C, I think we need to go page to page, compare, if this is good to what we have, okay, it's fine.
Yep.
We need to change that word to say this or that.
Yeah.
We change it, and we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan. Now, can I just bring up another thing? So now tonight, we're just talking about the bylaw.
Bylaw.
So why don't we just leave the regulations on
hold?
hold until
100%.
we get the bylaw set?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
And I think that's where you'll see that this bylaw will flow into the regulations a lot easier than trying to blend
Yeah.
this one, because the rules and regulations that we have still have all the other language in it, and
Yeah.
it's geared towards a whole different.
Yeah, it's too confusing
Yeah.
going
Yes.
back and forth.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
that's,
the bylaw is what is really needed,
yeah,
per se.
Correct.
The regs could get, we need to set up regs, but we need to have a perfect bylaw before we worry about regs.
right, yeah, 100%. That's why, you know what I mean, and we were still editing the bylaw, getting
But
stuff
we
in
were
some of
pretty
the.
damn close. We were, that,
Hmm.
for 2 nights, we went from page front to back, front to
Yeah.
back.
It was getting, we were getting, you know, we're taking 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, we get to the meeting, we don't have to see it, everyone's trying to figure out the edits. It was getting, and we weren't seeing.
Well, I mean, that could be
Getting
right.
getting the mapping,
The mapping is, that's the main deal.
Correct. Oh, you
I
agree?
mean, there ain't nothing going forward out of here
So-
until we have the correct map and we know what's going on.
So we want to,
Let's go page by page.
Let's go page by page.
There, Poor
100%.
Matt must be pulling his hair out doing this back and forth, back and
oh,
forth.
I know.
yeah, it might be
And then-
easier.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I did look up too, just a quick note, is, and in that the consent order that was sent to us,
Right.
I mean, it just says specifically, it says also this order only addresses specific violation described above, which is part 236 AII of the permit, of the stormwater permit,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
very small. It's only like a small section of the MS4 permit. You know, it's like page 45, and it's a little bit of 45 and 46 in that permit.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
I'm gonna get our general bylaws, because this also includes a list of discharge. We already have an illicit discharge bylaw.
Okay. So,
So you want to just start right from the beginning?
yeah, I think that might be the better way to go. It's what's palatable. That's the problem I have with the old version that we inherited is
Roll right up.
we were
Yeah.
struggling on how palatable it was just with us. Imagine if it goes to the public.
Right, so right off the bat, if you
Yep.
look under section A,
Yep.
there's where, I mean, in Uxbridge, period after redevelopment, okay? Then we in ours go on to talk about the environment, general welfare, protect aquatic resources and wildlife habitat, yada, yada. Probably just want to get rid of that,
Right.
correct?
Or just leave what's in this one.
Yes, so we're gonna get rid of all that extra fluff. But the only thing that I think we should put in here right in the beginning
Yep.
is the purpose of this bylaw is to meet the requirements of the federal, the EPA's,
Purpose is to-
MSN, and that's the reason we're doing
Purpose
this.
is, yeah,
Right.
two,
Okay, so-
and then you
Minimum
say,
requirements required for the.
That's right, so that should stay in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So
Well-
this is definitely going to conflict, because we already have a municipal storm drain system bylaw to prevent an illicit discharge. A lot of this stuff is already here.
Mhm.
So this is not just a go by the lines, because then we gotta go through this and see what matches, so.
So,
it's kinda
but
tough.
won't it be just duplicating what's there?
Yeah, kinda. Then-
Well, let me say,
Is that a
let me
bad-
ask you this, does one supersede the other?
No, they'd both be general bylaws. They'd both be in parallel. One's illicit discharge, the other one's the clearing of land to create stormwater systems, so
What if
it's,
they're both in agreement? Is there a problem?
No,
I mean,
why would there be a problem? If they're both, they need to be both the same, you can't have them
Right,
different.
right. Right, so.
They need to read the one,
Oh, so we're looking at the Uxbridge bylaw, and we're gonna make sure it's consistent with the illicit discharges. So we got 3 things we're gonna be,
No. I think what we're adding is, we're adding the minimum stormwater management requirement, and then we call out what section it is.
So what, I mean, they have their terminology is stormwater,
Correct.
for the MS4 purpose.
so it could be, yeah, minimum requirements for the compliance of section 309 of the Clean Water Act. That's the specific, at least from the EPA Region 1, that's their reference, right on the top line.
Minimum stormwater requirements of EPA.
It says here, order for compliance under section 309 of the Clean Water Act?
Well, would it be
Is that what this is under?
would it be helpful just to go through what the purpose of the Uxbridge is, and then eliminate the illicit discharge portion of it?
Yep.
If you look through the purpose, which is the very first section, it
Well, that could
establishes
just be
regulation,
the-
land development activities.
I'll throw another wrench in this. The administering authority of the illicit discharge bylaw is the Conservation Commission.
In Douglas?
Yes.
So you get a problem there.
Yeah.
Start with.
Is that a general bylaw?
Yep.
Do you add this to replace that section?
Can't you put in a little caveat that if there's a conflict with this bylaw with any other bylaw,
There's a section in that does say.
I kinda like Les's idea, why don't we replace this with the dual-purpose stormwater bylaw?
So that way goes away and.
but how does that go away?
Because you'd have this all in one.
So at town meeting, you ask for that to be removed and replaced with
It's not a
this.
town meeting, it's a general bylaw. So
I think, oh, I'm sorry.
not
General
general
bylaws still go to town meeting.
Yeah,
It's just,
town meeting.
they don't need a public hearing from the planning
Right.
board, that's all.
They're gonna go, yeah, it's gonna go to town meeting.
Yeah, so at the town meeting, we're asked to
Yep.
remove that
Correct.
and replace it with this.
Correct. That might be cleaner.
This would be the one that
Correct.
covers all.
Correct, covers
Okay.
both.
Yeah,
And
right,
it's
right.
updated.
Okay.
It'd be
You know what I mean?
more palatable.
Correct.
Just getting rid of one and putting in another.
We're combining what we've already had, that, and making it all under one umbrella now, one small packet, with an updated map.
Does that
Yeah,
work?
I guess.
alright.
How many people actually
Any bylaws?
know about that?
That's only come up once since
Yeah.
I've been here.
Okay,
So,
but I didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
alright, so, just back up to the basics. So, we'd scratched the, Uxbridge in / chapter 290, and we'll
Yeah.
just make that the town of
We're
Douglas.
gonna get rid of all these section numbers and all this
Correct.
stuff too, so this will be Article
Yeah,
11
12, right?
subsections. Well, if we're replacing the storm drain,
Oh, yeah.
it would be Article 11.
Article 11, alright,
Yeah.
Article 11. Okay.
So, what are you getting rid of?
We're gonna get rid of the old,
All right,
alright, and so it's gonna be known as Article 11. And we'll call it the town of Douglas, right? And then that's the, can we call it the MS4?
I don't wanna call it MS4.
No.
Because nobody knows what that is.
Okay, so we're gonna, so we'll call it stormwater
Just
management?
stormwater. Just, I mean, Uxbridge, that's just
That's all it
stormwater.
is.
Stormwater?
Bylaw.
Yeah.
Stormwater bylaw? Okay, no management, just stormwater
Sure,
bylaw.
yeah.
Okay, cleaner,
so like they have stormwater,
All right.
so it'll be the
That's
stormwater
it.
bylaw.
done.
That
Cleaner.
should make it, that should clean everything up, because
All
then
right.
then it's a one-stop shop, and it gets addressed at the same,
Yeah.
the same time.
And instead of putting in numbers, I was looking at the purpose of this bylaw is to comply with
Is to
the
comply.
EPA mandates, current mandates, or just comply with the EPA and to protect.
I think you add the, and to protect.
Meet the requirements of the federal
Mandate.
agency, the MS4
And-
compliance.
And to comply to
And
the
to, yeah,
EPA federal mandate
Yeah.
and to comply with,
yeah, and,
and to comply with the EPA.
And to meet the requirements of the federal environmental protection
Yeah,
agency for
just what he's got,
MS4
what he's got written right here, that works.
Yeah.
That is the intent, that's why we're
okay,
here.
yeah, it's nice and clean,
Okay.
I know I had that one. I hope I.
Okay.
Yep, it's right here.
and then you've got, this bylaw seeks to meet,
So we're gonna go with. Get rid of the MS4 though, right?
yeah, we're dropping the MS4 out, yeah,
For MS4 compliance, we're
Yeah.
getting rid of that.
yep.
Okay.
Now, in number 7, just reading through these, it talks about low
Well,
impact.
you're going-
Sorry. Go ahead.
You're too fast.
All right, let's go.
Let's,
Let's go, what's the next one?
So I'm looking at, we've got Douglas and we've got Uxbridge. So right now,
We're adding all the edits to the Oxbridge one.
Uxbridge is the template now.
Correct.
We're bringing this
Correct.
over to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But we need to have the things that's in ours
Correct,
to establish the planning board as a legal authority and all that kind of stuff.
correct.
So how are you gonna do all this?
That should be item number 1.
You're gonna add it to item number 1, the regulations for land, reservation, water. So,
And,
I would just add it to 1,
okay,
so, and then, that line comes over that established the Douglas Planning Board is a legal authority. And so that little section that we already have on 1 will come over here.
I think we're pulling 1, 2, 3, and 4, because I don't have any.
But that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4,
yeah.
we'll bring them
Yes.
over,
so bring over,
okay, 1 through 4. Okay, and that's gonna reorder,
our.
Yeah.
that's gonna reorder the,
3 and
Okay.
4.
So I will say the municipal storm drain bylaw has the item about home rule adoption under authority. So we did put that in here once before. Just saying.
okay,
Yeah, was that in the, which section was that in?
That's section 2.
So does Oxford even have that?
Oxford does have that in there,
They do.
The problem with that is I think, have you done any research on the home rule amendment? Have you guys done any research on that?
Yeah, that's what allows towns to create their bylaws without having to go to the state. It allows us to do these under town meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but, so the town of Abington, I was doing a little research on something. The town of Abington, remember a couple of years ago, they banned the use of gas stoves?
Yes.
Okay, they did that, they did that bylaw, they got appealed. Went to court, the state said, no, you can't do that. So they've since refiled it again under the Home Rule Act, and it's been yet to be decided. So just based on that premise alone,
So we don't wanna have the whole law.
that's my, because it's,
Correct.
right, the
good.
state overruled and said you can't tell somebody they can't have that,
so
yes.
we may not even need that,
That
right?
home
So-
rule amendment
Just
section, I don't
get-
think-
get it
I
out
think
of
that's-
there.
well, yeah, I don't think there's a purpose of having it in a section of your bylaws where it's not in other sections, right? Where, because, you know, I think Matt did the research, I think it was only in one other section, maybe 2, but it's not in all of our other bylaws that we've
No,
adopted that we
it's
move
not.
forward. So I wouldn't wanna have it in there, because then someone could look at it and say, well, that allows you to,
Now, the Uxbridge has it, just one
Yep.
small little paragraph.
correct, we can
We can-
chop it off.
Leave it there.
No, get
No,
rid
chop
of
it off.
Oh, get rid of both of them.
No, bylaws adopted pursuant to the regulations Federal Clean Water Act and
Correct.
authorized by the residents.
Yeah,
So we have to keep it.
To keep
No.
part of it.
part of it.
So what,
It was also, there's a 4-hour, if you wanna,
And I'm just
4 hours
thinking-
of your life, watching a webinar, there's actually. the,
Douglas.
Mass Municipal Association has 4-hour webinar on that whole
Yep.
topic. Matt Abington came up in it and it was all
Alright.
discussion.
So if we, back to where we were, if we add 1 through 4,
yep,
okay, that's gonna bump all the numbers down.
that's all right.
We're good with the content that's here, because I like the Uxbridge's number 4 with low impact practices. I think that's always a good thing to do. There's nothing in here that concerns me of the stormwater plans.
No.
That's all good. And it talks about the municipal, okay, that's all good. All right.
Then you have one on the back page too, B.
Correct. That's the one we talked about, that's we did change the town of Douglas.
So, did you read B? On the back side?
Nothing in this bylaw it intends to replace,
I don't know why there's so much space right there.
I don't know.
Figure this out.
to replace the requirements of the town's zoning bylaws.
Right.
Yeah, I think you have to have that.
We had it in
So-
ours.
Yeah, the reason why is because this doesn't trump this bylaw won't trump anything related to zoning, and complies, the key, must comply with specific.
I don't know.
Not to digress on that, but you guys have talked about the 1 through 4 on that section there. That's actually addressed in the administration portion of the Uxbridge of 290, section 4.
Well, when we get through there, we can go in and maybe omit that, if it's the same
Yeah.
stuff.
This is what's staying, I think this is just establishing
Well, we
the
want it-
purpose of the
Correct,
bylaw.
purpose.
I think
Not
you
the
need it
administration.
right in the very first paragraph. That should be right in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that the purpose of the bylaw is different than the administration of the bylaw.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Are we okay with the purpose section for now?
Yeah, we'll probably move those, but
Yeah.
Alright.
All right.
Let's skip definitions for now.
Yeah,
Just go right to the other stuff. Well, I'd like to move authority up to section 2, ahead of the definitions.
that's
Yeah.
actually not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Section 3 to, okay. So this, to move to number 2.
Yeah.
That's actually a good idea, because who's the authority, right? That would just move definitions to number 3.
So that needs to be in there, right? Put the whole rule amendment?
No, we took, taking that out, just,
Taking that out,
right, but,
so what are we moving up?
It'll just read the bylaws adopted pursuant to the regulations of the
Okay.
Federal Clean Water Act.
All right.
Authorized by the
Okay.
town of Douglas.
So the authority, we're,
This bylaw is adopted under authority
on the authority,
of the, to the regulations of the federal
okay,
and pursuant.
so granted, eliminating,
Granted,
okay, to the, in town of Douglas.
Okay.
Adopted pursuant to the regulations.
Yeah,
town meeting dated, whatever.
town of
our
Douglas,
meeting
and then
is.
blank for the town meeting,
Yep.
okay,
May 2025.
all right. Oh,
So here's where we get the administration stuff.
yes.
okay,
so the administration stuff's gonna be 3.
no, definitions would be
Oh.
3, right?
All right, so we'll go back to,
Yeah, definitions will be 3.
We'll
Okay.
come back to the definition.
Yeah,
all right.
See what it was.
So
Coming
now
out, which one you jumping to?
we're on
Administration.
administrations, number 4. All right,
Coming back to 4?
yeah. The stormwater authority shall administer this bylaw and granted duties.
Conservation administrator,
No.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, that's where we're gonna,
agent.
well, that's just saying that the stormwater authority shall, they may request input and involvement from
Right.
the Department of Public
Yeah.
Works, the Conservation,
mhm,
and all the departments, so they get
Yeah.
input from them,
Right.
which is a good idea.
yeah. So we're gonna change, on number 4A, we'll change it to the Douglas, town of Douglas Planning Board,
Yeah. Conservation agent.
conservation agent, yeah.
Well, that's already in the first paragraph, A.
Mhm.
Authority shall be the,
Yeah, we're just changing
Yeah.
the verbiage in
Yeah.
there.
Should be,
Board of Health and, yeah, I
should be
mean,
Highway Department of Public Works, we don't put that.
yeah,
Right.
So then, we're gonna leave in the Conservation Administrator, Conservation Agent, or the Conservation Commission.
Yep.
yeah, and or.
So we're not gonna use any of our A through D under our Douglas one.
I don't think so.
We don't need it.
They're kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I kind of
Okay,
like
so
the
we're
way
just-
theirs reads.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
it's easy reading, they go through it all in time. And it
Alright.
Because I think they-
flows
they-
nice.
They chunked it up where, on the administration thing, first is you get the authority, then you get the regs, and then they talk about the manual, so they section it up really well. I think the problem with our administration is,
so why are we getting rid of D on ours?
oh, well, we haven't got to that. And that's underneath,
Well, we're in administration, right? Or are you still on the first one?
no, we're on the first one, A.
Okay.
Yep. So,
So we're gonna admit out of here, we're adding in Douglas, planning board.
Yep. Highway and the conservation
So we're gonna get
agent.
rid of public works and call it highway?
Correct. Highway department, yep. Yep, it's cleaner that way. On the 4B,
This gets rid of section 5 for us, because it's here under administration,
Yep.
so it's good.
I don't think, I don't see any changes on 4B. Well, because everything's about advertising and, okay. 4C, okay, stormwater authority. Again, the authority's pointing back to the planning board as the authority,
Yep.
so that's good. Set forth, at least, handbook.
Also lays out criteria for how you would come up with the stormwater management.
Design, yep, size. I think 4C's okay. What do you think on D, 4D, anything there, Margaret?
On whose, on theirs?
On theirs, yeah. This is the actions and the, may take any,
That's pretty much similar to what we have in the other one. And
but I think they did cover, you know, okay, Mike, what you're worried about underneath the administration on the old one, the old 4D, underneath our old one, that actually comes over underneath exemptions. It's the first exemption.
Okay, so that's where we're changing stuff up.
Right, so-
Where they have it under administration,
Correct.
we're gonna be,
We're gonna
we
look,
have it on that, they put it under exemption.
correct, that,
This actually flows much smoother. You
Yeah.
go through it all and
because now they're talking about appeals, right? Underneath the 4E, we talked about the appeal process. A decision of the authority shall be final. A decision of the made under review in Superior Court. So basically, tells what your
That's-
appeal period.
Right, that's the
Terrible.
same.
Who's gonna go to Superior Court?
We
to
have that in
appeal
this one as well. That's the same.
Oh no, it's brutal.
It is brutal, there's no,
But
there's no,
that's
is that the only way to do it?
well, because they're an elected board. You can't appeal an elected board decision other than to the court.
Right.
It can't be because they're elected. So
The
this.
point is, then it could be different. They got-
This is how Dudley got in trouble, you know, where the planning board made a decision and the selectmen started stepping into it and no, they don't have the authority because,
So for elected
Oh, no, that
boards.
doesn't, that's not, I can't see that necessarily true because the,
The plan review is reviewable by the ZBA. Because it's written into our regulations.
yes, and then also the aquifer protection bylaw is administered by the planning board, but there's an appeal, you can appeal to the ZBA.
It's written into
Really?
the bylaw that way.
oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so who would you,
It has to be written into the bylaw.
yeah, so would you appeal the stormwater to a local board?
I think that would be preferable.
It would be.
I would, no, I
When it comes to
agree.
the ZBA, what are their qualifications to review stormwater? I know you're pretty
Just
good.
as much as
I know
the
you're pretty
planning,
good,
just as
yes.
much
Well,
as the planning.
no, I think,
Yes.
so you gotta
And they're gonna
realize.
do the same thing, they're gonna
Yeah.
look at, they're gonna
Correct.
look at it, they're gonna
Yeah.
get consultants review
And-
exactly
Yeah.
what.
You-
Pre-Margaret,
I
they
think-
weren't
No, I think you could, I think you could add it in there. The benefit of the ZBA is because it's your local appeal board.
Well,
It's
yeah,
a first stop for an appeal,
Correct.
then
The
you go to
only
the next
reason
level.
I
You go
bring
to
that
court.
up it's, you know, it gives, you know, somebody's not happy with the decision, you know, at least they
Of one
haven't.
board locally.
That's right.
then you
but
could go to the-
Don't make them go to Superior Court, because
Right.
that's years out, and
Yeah.
it's thousands of dollars, and it's never gonna happen. At least
Mm-hmm.
somebody has the option locally, you know, to have somebody else, you know, take a look at it.
And if they can't resolve it there, they have the option to appeal that to.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so do we wanna add into E, do we wanna say a decision of the stormwater shall be final?
I should ask council.
No, that's right, we'll
Okay.
we'll put it in there, and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
because council's gonna review this anyways, and if
Yeah.
that's allowable, that's what I would recommend.
I'm getting from that.
Yeah, that the,
And how often is that really ever gonna happen? Because I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna trigger it much at all anyways,
Yeah.
True.
you
So
know?
the
Will be substantial.
local
So
zoning
which one you
board,
put, then, are you gonna put that under the,
E, that right
under
after
the
it says,
exemptions?
no, underneath E, for E, right after it says, a decision of the stormwater authority shall be final, and then you'd say, you know, appeal to the local zoning board.
Well, the language from the zoning bylaw.
Yeah.
site
Yeah.
plan review.
Yeah, so you put that under,
E, for E. It's right at the top, because I think that way
or
there,
you put on the 4, not on the, you were in exemptions a second ago.
well, no, we haven't got to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This was the last one that we had.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
good.
Because that way they would have a local option, and then if they want to appeal that decision, you know, there's only one course of action for them to go to Superior Court.
It's very frustrating through the Conservation Commission and any towns when they have bylaws. The only way to appeal it is through Superior.
Oh, yeah,
Court,
that's
You know,
brutal.
and it's just,
Yeah.
No, that's
It is
brutal.
Yeah.
frustrating. Yeah.
so,
That's brutal.
anyways. Okay.
Okay, section 5,
Yeah, okay.
um,
Which will be section 6.
Yeah.
We're gonna, no, it's the other ones that we're moving up.
we just,
2 and 3 will.
2 and
yeah,
3
those
we
will
just flipped.
change. These will stay the same.
correct,
Yeah.
5 is 5.
Okay.
So,
Well, 5 is now 6, so rules and regs are gone. On the Douglas one, that's gone.
oh yeah,
So this is 6 on ours, becoming a 5.
yeah, yes. Is there anything in there that we gotta bring over underneath applicant,
Under applicability?
applicability, yep. No person shall alter the, yeah, that's a ton of Douglas.
So this bylaw shall be applicable to all new development and redevelopment within the MS4 jurisdiction?
Right at the top you want us?
Well, that's what, because it only applies to that, within the MS4 jurisdiction.
Regulated.
Right,
Yeah.
so that would be your first, for your
Yeah,
first
so,
sentence.
yeah, this bylaw would be applicable
Well,
to all
to-
new development, redevelopment, within that mapped, you know,
Okay,
MS4 area, agree?
within, what we're calling the stormwater tile map. All right,
So what are you calling it?
Stormwater tile map. Well,
well, that's what it's, we got it labeled now, right?
is that what they're gonna label it? Keep it the same, or they're gonna call it a different map once it's changed?
Whatever the title, what do we call, what do we put it in there for now?
We're gonna just put parentheses title, we're not.
Correct.
Until we get that.
Yeah, but
Because-
that's what we're gonna point to.
Yes.
Right, but if they change the map,
Correct.
that
We're gonna-
map will have a different name.
Correct, we would wanna date it.
So what we'll do is,
Well,
Put
the
a
map
note
is- The map has to be made part of the bylaw.
correct,
Dated,
Yeah.
and then with them as amended.
see what name.
Right.
So
So,
you call it the,
shall be applicable to the map accepted
correct.
at
The
the same
catchment
time as-
areas is shown on the MS4 catchment area map.
Okay,
That's,
catchment,
that's the way that has to be.
all right.
The catchment areas, I don't know if you want to go down that route, because that catchment areas are
Oh, catch basins.
But
Correct.
this is the way Nick told me to write it,
Okay.
so I'm just going with his recommendation.
that's
When did-
contradictory to what he's, because that does not.
When did he say that?
That was one of the more recent, once we adopted the tile map, this is the language he proposed. So,
Yeah, but that's saying.
It's not, we haven't adopted the tile map.
Well, that
An
comes
updated
with this,
version.
right?
There'll
As
be a-
shown on the MS4 catchment area map, which is that.
Right.
Okay.
But if he omits things, and those things are on this map, now you have a contradiction.
A catchment area is a retention.
Well,
pond
That's
or
why I wanted
detention
contact
pond
with this
that does
guy.
not-
This along.
So let's,
To hammer this stuff
let's
out.
just put a name
Stop.
for now, that, subject to change.
Correct,
We don't know what it's
Map
gonna
A.
be.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Subject to map A,
I
there
would-
you go.
yeah,
Matt, if you get a chance, can you, whenever you correspondence with Nick, could you
Yeah.
forward that to everybody in the?
Could we-
So we can so we can follow
Yeah.
along.
This is why
Yep.
the map was so important from
It
the
is.
beginning.
I think the other thing is that Just, I don't wanna get bogged down on the map, but.
You
we
don't,
know-
but it's
we-
important.
No. We know that it has to be updated. So we're referencing the version that we've got right now. We know that's gonna shrink.
Okay, so,
I mean, so,
I know what you're saying, but you're saying the wrong terminology. This map is gonna stay the way it is, because they use this at the highway department. There will be like a new map just for this.
Correct.
So it isn't, that's going away. That's gonna stay because it shows the catch basins.
Correct.
So that map is still
Correct.
gonna be used and everything else.
Yes.
There's gonna be a specific map
correct.
for this specific
Yep.
stormwater bylaw.
A
Right.
reduced,
Is that simple?
a reduced,
If we don't know what the name of that thing is yet.
Correct.
okay.
But we will know the name before this goes to
Correct.
Correct.
town meeting.
Before we
Okay.
pass this around,
Sure.
Yes.
we need to have that in
Map.
our
We're
position.
on the same
Okay.
page. We're on the same page.
But I'm just saying that
Alright.
everybody's getting, the terminology's getting all
Yeah.
turned around, and that's not what we're trying to do here.
And what I was trying to do is, so we're clear, we know it is going to be
A different,
a different map that's less targeted properties or marked properties than what is shown right now.
And as far as the bylaw, we're just saying
Yeah,
that
so
this
bring
is
up map
only
A.
applicable if we're within that map.
Map A.
correct. We're
Okay.
gonna call it map A.
for now.
Okay.
Right now,
Okay, got
there is
it.
no, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right.
So now he might just take that, omit some things, reprint it and say, here's.
Oh, yeah, I expect,
Here's your map.
I expect
This
them
is
to-
your stormwater map.
agree. I expect them to take things off there.
But that map will still be hung out and used for certain entities.
So the way I read his email, it says attached figure 1 showed the regulated urbanized area which regulated under MS4, which is the starting point. That was our urbanized map that was 11 by 17, it's not up here. But it's essentially that, it's the MS4 map from EPA. That's it.
Right.
So then he says, within that area, technically only areas that discharge in town MS4 drainage system and waterways in the US are regulated. So then he shows that on Appendix A2, which is this map. This is the smaller map that he talks about in that email. It doesn't say it goes any smaller than that. So he gave us 3 options: regulate the whole town, regulate the section town as figure 1-1 on that map, or regulate it piecemeal like this one.
Time out.
That's the way you read it.
I want to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
No, we've been going back and forth over this since September. What's the hard part about having a gentleman on the phone?
Yeah.
We can physically speak to the person and/or,
So, why don't we do this? Why don't we update,
I mean,
Mike,
Jesus.
why don't we update the bylaw that we're drafting right now? Update that and ask them to come to our next meeting.
Yeah.
We plan on having them come in at a
Absolutely.
December meeting anyways.
Right.
Right, the idea is
But we
we
might,
keep kicking the can down, we're on time.
No, I understand what Matt's talking about, and I see where you're going with that, Matt, but I think if you read the next sentence of that, I think it clarifies it a little bit clearer.
and I think if we have Nick in here,
that area,
we're gonna need Nick
technically
in here
only
to,
areas of discharge to the MS4, within that map area.
Yep.
That's the map, within that.
This all could have been hammered out 5 weeks ago, if we would have done what we wanted to do right off the get-go. And that verbiage was, let's get the map first,
Yep.
then let's go from there.
so,
But here we are, down the road, and we're still talking about a stinking map, and we
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Well,
But we can continue
yeah,
on.
we're gonna continue on,
Yeah.
but let's have Nick at our next meeting.
Yep.
Because that way there, he can at least tell us, right? We can explain to him why we would be looking to shrink the footprint in the marked areas. And that way there, he can provide map A.
And he might be able to bring something with him,
Correct.
say, this is what you're going by, make a
Correct.
copy of it,
Yep.
attach it to your bylaw, send it out, away you go.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty
just
perfect.
simply explain his email.
Because we may,
He hasn't
need him
asked.
for 2 meetings.
Yeah, so
At
for
least,
for
you know what I
right
mean?
now, let's just call it map A,
Yep,
though.
move
so-
forward.
yep, Okay.
Okay.
So now the next part, all right, well, are we good with A?
Yep.
What about B? Do we want to get into talking about hotspots?
In the section that they refer to, what we're supposed to comply with, it does mention that.
Oh, okay. Where are you saying it does?
This is what the administrative order that we got.
Okay, it does say that?
It
All right.
says, well, it's just saying you need to follow part 2, 3, 6. That's the only portion that we're in violation of. And it's page 44 and 45 on that permit. And it's basically post-construction and pre-construction, post-construction development,
All right,
redevelopment.
so
So
any
you're, by
alteration,
May 31st, yeah.
redevelopment or conversion to a hotspot, but only if you're within the map A, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, only if it's applicable to, if you're in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might make sure that within the mapped area.
Within the mapped area.
And then if you go through the language. it
Where-
actually-
where are you on that,
actually
Margaret?
Clarifies what that is, Margaret.
B, she's
B,
in
B, I'm just saying, we're talking about hotspots, only
Okay,
if you're within the
determine.
mapped area.
Right, and it clarifies that in the hotspots, what they are and how to handle them.
So, just going back to A, maybe that first sentence should be in a paragraph of its own,
You could bump it
right?
into 2 paragraphs.
And then start the next paragraph, the bylaw shall apply to any activities,
Yeah.
right? So that one stands alone under
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah, you
It
can have
stands out.
you can have a sub paragraph. It doesn't have to be another number, right? So A can
A will-
start out there with a sentence or two, and then underneath there's more verbiage. Okay, it still can be
A
part of
number
it.
one,
Yeah.
And 2,
Correct.
whatever we need out there.
Okay. If we're ready, the hotspots is a great call out that it should be, within the mapped area, right after the word hotspot.
We can get rid of marinas, because we don't have to have
Yeah.
So now the road salt storage areas, now does that trigger the highway department?
those. They're not in the area.
They're
No.
area. They're exempt.
Oh, I don't think
Yeah.
they are, actually.
No, they're
Might
not.
be.
Where's the map?
They are.
Yeah, right there. In the red zone.
But are they grandfathered? So it's
They're
a
exempt.
Exempt?
Yeah, usually municipalities are exempt.
Okay.
And that area might not even be on map A. So that's, see where I'm going?
Right.
Here we are, we're trying to
Yeah.
determine
Got it,
entities,
got it.
and we don't even know what
Yeah.
we're dealing with.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, unless you guys, you want to take out hotspots, but I think we need to, it should be covered underneath what I was reading on the,
Okay, that's
On that
fine,
section.
within the mapped areas.
Correct.
you
Mapped
know?
areas.
The map, yeah, the mapped area.
Yeah.
All right, number C, we'll get into exemptions.
So we kept
Yeah.
theirs,
Yes.
most of them anyway.
The one I want to change is number 5, because it just says single-family dwellings.
Yeah, that got brought up before.
Yeah,
Let me
I think-
say that.
Residential dwelling.
Yeah, I would say residential dwellings.
Can't imagine you're gonna have an acre of
oh,
disturbance.
that's what I was wondering. I was trying to figure out how that even applied.
I know, I don't.
But I think it would only apply on calculations, but it's existing. That's why I had thought maybe just leaving repair or replace of existing roof, period. Don't add, don't.
Well, how does a roof trigger an
Well,
acre worth of disturbance?
disturbance. Oh,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
have one of those warehouses at 1,000,000 square feet. The gutters and the runoff from that is
Cause they're
substantial.
20, I think a 1,000,000 square feet is a 25-acre roof.
I think I think the big thing is, I'm okay if we ended at the word, because it's already existing.
It's an existing, it's already been through.
That's the tough part is, it should be exempt if you're already existing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why are you gonna punch something that's already existing?
Alright, so we'll just cross off the rest of it.
Okay,
So what do you wanna do?
we're gonna stop it at roof.
Okay.
Repair and replace of existing roof.
And then the only other one I had to mark on here was number 4, maintenance of existing landscaping, gardens, or lawn areas.
Oh,
I think it should be period. So
Right,
whatever,
eliminate the two,
of the single family, because if somebody has a duplex or somebody has.
get rid of the rest.
It's basically anybody that's got an existing
Again, and it's,
landscaping.
yeah, okay, that's cleaner. Construction, single family. There's a lot of that,
And there was a bunch that we added.
yeah. We'll take a look at what we brought over.
We brought over normal maintenance improvements of town of Douglas publicly owned roadways and associated drainage infrastructure.
That's correct, that's exempt, public roadways,
Bring on-
correct?
Yep, bring
Yeah.
on 14. Projects jurisdictional conservation commission requires stormwater management. Projects that are jurisdictional by Douglas Planning Board require stormwater management. We put those in there, but we were gonna ask Nick about that, once we get it to him. But we'll put them in for now and then see what he says.
Okay.
I think there was some language there was some language in here that, was it, I did read something about that, where was that?
That's kind of cleaner.
We covered our exemptions pretty well. So,
Yeah.
and we took all theirs, so.
What's D?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Bill. On,
D is illicit discharge, so that's.
So
what's
you
new.
wanna still,
that's
you
the piece
wanna
that we're
include the
gonna-
14, 15, and 16 is what you're saying?
Yeah. Take those back.
Transfer those over to Uxbridge.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
14, 15, and 16. The illicit discharge, we're gonna leave that in there.
Yeah, because we're taking that from our general bylaw.
So, oh, there you go. Remove that out. Okay.
I don't know what section
Whatever it is.
for.
I had a question for Mike on this, one question, Mike, under the, you know that, you had that, chapter with the cutting, is that cited in here under that section?
Chap, number
Number
13, they're listing it. I, believe it or not, I left that home because I thought in the beginning of this, it was stated and included anything in that whole book, which is, I don't want to misquote the chapter. You know, well, I showed it to you, Matt, that thick
Yeah.
binder.
I just wanna make sure
They
that
have it
it's
all.
included
It
in.
is 13,
I'll check them.
but the exact number, I think I had like a letter A, and now I think it's a B or something, or C.
It could be included, the same section is 40 through 46, so it could be.
Yeah.
one of those sections.
I'll check it. Just make sure.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, so as long as you have a cutting plan, well, you don't even need a cutting plan, because under the regulation, you're allowed to cut it by right.
Right,
That's what it's, so here they're talking about a cutting plan,
okay.
but I don't know if that's a chapter that covers where you're allowed to do it by right.
Okay. I just think we just
Well,
clarify that.
So I'm gonna make a note here, by right.
So,
Not skipping through, because I know we jumped through some.
Yeah,
stuff.
so
On
third-
Number 9 as well, I had a note here, that the same thing, eliminate that last verbiage of the single family dwelling.
Eliminate,
And just start at basketball court.
court and then remove the rest.
yeah,
Okay.
delete the rest.
Or do you want to add something with similar type activities? Because that one's very
Construction of a deck
specific.
patio and retaining walls, expansion.
driveway.
Yep.
Construction of a shed, swimming pool, tennis, or basketball court.
So the tennis or basketball court, that could be an outdoor recreational use, right? If it's several courts, and someone wants to propose that, this would make them exempt.
Is that good or bad?
I don't think that's good.
So-
You should probably stay
so-
to the single family dwelling,
Okay.
right? Just because
All right.
you want to put in like 4 tennis courts on a property,
Yeah.
and you
Well,
disturb
apart-
more than an acre, how's that gonna,
Yeah.
if we have land for that? Everyone does.
Yeah, tennis courts are not that big anyway.
It could be because of
But, yeah,
expansion of an existing driveway.
How about, you want to leave it for, parent to residential dwellings?
Yeah,
Because a
right.
single family.
two-way
It's limited.
residential.
So keep it, put the verbiage of residential dwelling,
Yeah.
Residential dwelling.
so that it's not a specific entity.
Correct. Dwelling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that way again, it's not being leased out or sold,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's always in a bunch of things.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Any other? That's 9. Any changes beyond that?
I don't have anything else on that, right?
I think 10 was good. Emergency 11 repairs.
Yeah.
think that's all good.
Yeah.
Any work? Just going back.
Oh, yes. I had a thing on number 12. It says, any work or projects for which all necessary approvals and permits have been issued before the effective date of this bylaw. Typically, where I can see the conflict on that is if somebody starts an application 2 months before, 3 months before, and town meeting votes,
Mhm.
and they don't have their approvals, but they've already done all the engineering, everything's done. Now, wouldn't be in compliance, because
They were issued. Yeah.
because they didn't get the permits.
This is the exemption, so. So if I got my building permit,
No.
He's saying if they're still in the
If they're
public
still in
hearing
the public
process.
hearing
Oh.
process and you're 3 months into it, depending on if they didn't have a quorum, if they couldn't meet. So typically, usually what happens on that is,
because it says issued, and necessary approval.
It's usually from the application date. I know in building permits, whenever they do zoning bylaws, it's always from the date of the application. So if you submit an application
From
and
the
start the
stamp.
process.
From the date that it's stamped by the
that's
town
stamped-
clerk.
Yes, yes. That's usually how they do it in
Yeah.
zoning
Because
bylaws.
when we get that stuff back, it's all date stamped.
Do you want to take out the word approval and permits, or you want to add the word application date?
Sure, I'm thinking-
The necessary.
Any work or projects for which all necessary approvals and permits have been applied for before the effective date of this bylaw.
I've been legally applied for.
Applications that have been, yeah, permits, applications
have
that have
been-
been submitted. There's some, I didn't look up the
This
text.
is online-
There is some wording that goes with that
Right.
under the.
So I would say have been submitted instead of issued. So if you switch the word issued versus submitted,
Formally submitted.
formally submitted.
Yeah. Prior to,
Yeah, no, and then before,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to do anything else that, before the effective date of this
Yeah.
bylaw, boom.
Okay.
So that way there, that's an easy change. Mike, on 13 with the harvesting, so,
He just, yeah, he asked. The only thing I don't see in here, and Matt said he was gonna check, was you're allowed by right,
Yeah.
without a forestry plan, to cut.
yeah,
And he's going to, I had the booklet with me.
yeah,
I've been carrying it around, but I took it home because Matt said, yeah, it's already in there.
okay,
So now I should have kept it with me because I wouldn't have the number off of it.
Alright.
Page and article number.
okay.
We're allowed by right.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So even though this talks about illicit discharge,
Yep,
I will say that our illicit discharge bylaw is more prohibited. There's a lot more exemptions and things. So even though this talks about it, I think it might be in parallel to the illicit discharge bylaw, so this shouldn't actually replace it. I'll do a little more research on
yeah,
that.
that's how I initially
But we
read that.
should change the authority of this to the planning board.
yeah,
To
yeah,
comply.
Concurrently with
to match the
To
two.
concur with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I go to both,
Okay.
right, that doesn't make any sense.
Because there was only a small section of illicit discharge discussion in this,
Yeah.
in this stormwater.
Right.
That would get the two to match.
Now, how's the terminology written in that? Is it more cleaner than what's written in this one?
It's just, there's a lot more. It's, they have similar definitions, but there's a lot more prohibited activities and exemptions, water line flushing, flow from potable water sources, springs. Like, we don't talk about stuff like
No.
that here.
No.
We're talking about the clearing and
Yeah.
not the type of water that comes from the ground. And
Right.
this is all different, so.
Yeah, this is primarily talks about the
So that would still, if we're gonna, you look into that, because that might just change us from Article 11 to Article 12. We're gonna add
Yeah.
it. And then we would just change that to be it. And that should be underneath the planning board authority anyways.
Right.
Okay.
I think there's actually, you were looking under the, when you was talking about, you looked under section D? Or
Yeah.
You're looking under,
Yeah, D.
D.
okay.
D.
Might as well keep it, because it's.
Keep it in there for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and there was another section that gives it some other exemptions as well, regarding that illicit discharge.
So that
It's-
might just get beefed up a little to replace
Correct.
the separate, yeah,
If we've got to pull it over.
sure.
Yep.
It's section 1, number 8, which says prohibited illicit connections. Eliminate non-stormwater discharges. I guess this kind of talks about like.
Purpose of it.
the Purpose, so I guess that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Illicit discharge, okay. And under the definitions, it has a definition of illicit discharge.
Yep.
And that's okay, so that's
Yeah.
all these.
So I
things
guess
Yeah.
so illicit discharge though, if we're gonna eliminate it there, put it all in here, this is only applicable in the MS4.
Yeah, so we'll keep this.
Yeah, he's gonna keep that then.
Important to keep it.
Oh, so you are
Yeah,
he's
keeping
gonna
that?
keep it.
Yeah, got it,
Yeah.
got
But
it.
change the verbiage on, I think, he's bringing up from Concom to planning board.
Yeah.
So that there's one board handling the both.
Both pieces.
Should probably
Where
swap
it's
the
already in
articles.
here,
Put
illicit
this one in
discharge.
front of the other one.
Correct. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if somebody's dumping a
This,
lot of.
this would be 11, and the old one would move to 12.
Yeah, this one should be in front of the other one.
So so that Got it.
Yeah,
So we're keeping two separate.
two separate.
Yeah.
But keeping the
We get to
same,
work together.
and the same
Sure.
authority
Because
Yeah.
under.
illicit discharges in stormwater, which then would come
Okay,
up with that.
section 7 on the enforcement, I know what we,
Do procedures.
oh, procedures, sorry, you're right, procedures. Shall,
We part of rule 4.
It's a brief little description, but.
4 is the administration piece,
Yeah.
so it points back to that.
Yep.
Okay, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't overburden.
That's who's yeah.
Okay.
Enforcement.
Four.
All right, 7 is the enforcement.
So they did $100 fine.
Correct.
They can go up to 300. It's a statute thing. Mike asked me to ask counsel.
I talked to the town administrator, who kind of confirmed what I said. You can't differentiate between residential and commercial.
Okay.
You also can't differentiate between out of town and in town.
I got,
Yeah.
just
So it's
had to
worth
ask.
asking. but-
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's education for us.
Right, now we know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that when it's in here,
Yep.
and if that question comes up,
Mhm.
there's a definite answer.
Right.
There's a backing to it.
All right,
You're gonna leave it 1, or you gonna change that?
I would leave it 1 if the planning board doesn't have the discretion to waive it for,
yeah, you can't separate
it's not
out
gonna hurt.
a resident versus a
resident.
commercial.
Correct.
Commercial's not gonna care for the 100 and 300. A resident will.
That's right,
Correct.
that's $700
Correct.
a week,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Correct. So if we couldn't have separated, so that's the question I wanted to know was, you know, if it was a resident, a non-resident, could you separate the two? Or residential versus commercial? Because if you could say, okay, commercial, you could hit them at $300 a day. But a resident, $300 a day is, you gotta turn the lights out.
Leave 100.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm just looking at the deal. If we,
Which section we want?
section 7, enforcement.
Enforcement, they have enforcement in here too. They incorporate the violation portion, so they, under the fees
Yep.
and everything, they have that in there.
Yeah,
So that's kind of blended into one, which is, I think, a little cleaner.
the only thing that, in our old section had the civil relief, if a person violates,
Also has
Under which,
waivers for provisions also.
oh, yeah, put it
I think that's one thing that Uxbridge is absolutely missing is the itemized for waivers,
Yep.
on.
or else none of these are waivable.
Well, yeah, I think that's what you need, but also, the other piece is the surety,
Yeah.
right? So you need, I think you need to move over,
Well, the surety, that's not, I think that should be, that should be a rules and regulations. I don't think that should be in the bylaw.
Can I bounce back, if you don't mind, on the enforcement?
go ahead.
Well, because we're talking about civil penalties,
Well, it was in the old one, yeah.
the very last
Planning board,
highlighted paragraph.
yeah, planning board,
The planning board has the ability to reduce or waive.
yep,
That's not, we should include
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
the last
think.
line,
And on the enforcement side, where the penalties and fees are?
yeah. I agree, Mike, it has the ability, 'cause that was one of the things that we,
Civil penalties.
Which section was that?
right there,
Yeah.
section 11, our old section 11, it was the last sentence.
Section 11.
So that's why I was going over that.
Yeah.
I know you guys were jumping down the road, but
Yeah.
I knew we
Yeah, that was
really
one.
discussed that more than one night,
Oh, yeah.
and I thought we put it in there, and we did, so
Yeah.
that should be transferred over, I think.
If justified, yeah,
Yeah,
in, within in their opinion.
Reduce or waive.
Yep. That's cleaner. That was one of the items that we were really specific on. Why
Why am I not seeing section 11? I read that.
huh?
you in the same one? You in that one, right?
Yeah. Because I have one that has the edits in it. It says-
Do you have the one that's highlighted in red?
I do. It's the same.
So it's under, civil and criminal penalties.
Yeah.
Less,
Oh, yes, it is there, okay,
Okay.
Yeah, see it?
Yep.
Yeah. So remember we discussed
Yes,
that?
we did, yeah, thank you.
But that's not in Uxbridge's.
Yeah.
We need to transfer that over.
Yeah.
Administration.
I think remedies in section 12 is included in
Okay.
one of these sections in here.
So, The one, here's the, on Uxbridge, on number 8, they talk about appeals here again.
Yeah.
That's already covered in that administration piece of it.
then we get rid of it. We don't need it again, correct?
Where are you talking, where are you
I
looking?
don't think it should
No,
be.
number 8,
It should probably be removed from administration and its own section.
correct, so leave it here.
Yes.
Leave it in 8, but have everything related to appeals be under one section.
Yeah.
Because that, and it also flows, you think about it, you have the enforcement,
Yeah.
right? The administration is not, you don't want to be talking about an appeal
Right.
in administration. That's really not setting it up.
So we're gonna
To a-
change this to match what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, we'll add that last piece of administration, where they talk about appeals, E, section E. We'll move,
And we're gonna say appeal to the ZBA if we get town council
Correct.
approval to be able to do
Yeah.
that, correct?
yeah. So,
All the remedies are in this section too, of the appeals process.
correct, but we have to move the, what we're calling,
Section 12 is already in number 8.
correct. But we gotta move that section E over to section 8. So, we're following at home, section 2E will move over to section 8. So the appeal language is all together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay?
so 2E
2E,
is gonna go to 8.
8, section 8, where it keeps all the appeal stuff. Okay. And then we can clean that up because it's a lot of double talk. Same thing with,
Where are we gonna sneak waivers? In between enforcements and appeals?
yeah, I think that's where you have to sneak it in.
I'm just gonna pull our language over for waivers.
Okay.
Just see how it looks.
Where's our, where?
Waivers is section 9 under ours.
So section
Our
9.
section 9?
Yep, old. Waivers. We'll move over.
So you're gonna put 9 over,
It becomes like 7B. Well,
Over
we'll-
7B?
Well, it will be 8, but it's gonna move everybody down.
okay.
I mean,
You wanna go, this here will be 8.
yep, section 8 new. And it's gonna then push everybody down. a
So the
lot.
only thing on that, you want
8
the verbiage in that is you want
hour.
to change that verbiage on one word, and it's, it says planning board review with agent, may waive strict compliance with any one requirement, so it should be with any requirement of the bylaw here and with that.
Yeah, get rid of 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And this would be waivers and provisional relief. Okay?
Under appeals, we should pull section 10, 12, and 14.
Oh, old?
Yeah.
Civil relief,
Yeah, civil relief, remedies not exclusive, insured.
10, 12, 14, yes, absolutely.
Which one?
Where are those going?
Under appeals.
So the old bylaw, so you're
Yeah.
talking 10?
12 and 14.
10, those will,
Well, we're not adding that to this, are we? Under the appeals? Because it's already, that would be contradicting what That's already saying that in the appeals.
Yeah, so let's read 10, old 10, in our old bylaw.
Yeah,
That really, when you go through it,
It's exactly.
is
similar.
the violations, in a person's violation, in court. So that's old section 10 on the civil relief, that's an appeal process anyways.
Right.
So I don't think we need that
Okay.
in the new.
so eliminate the civil relief.
Yeah.
Section 11 is already in section 7,
Correct.
Get rid of that.
We've taken care of that. That one's came over.
so we don't need to carry the other one.
Yeah,
12 is,
12 is already in the appeals process
So,
on the remedy described in these regulations. That's already in there
oh,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
okay.
so we're good there. And
So-
then we're not gonna talk about surety because that would be more in the regs.
That'll be up to the planning board if whether they require that.
what, for 13 and 14 fees and surety?
So I've noticed that in our regulations, only for subdivision, which are our own regulations, that's where we add a surety. We
Right.
don't have a surety for anything site plan related because it's not in our zoning bylaws.
Right.
So we
Which
can't
hurts us.
ask for it and it kills us, you're
Right,
right.
I know it does.
So
Okay.
this might be an opportunity to do that. The other thing,
Do we want-
I think the fees is, I don't think it's talking, I think it's talking about peer review consultant fees.
Correct.
So we need that in there to be
It
able to
says
engage a peer
by a
review consultant.
PE.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah, we clean that up.
right.
So-
I
so I
wouldn't call it
think-
fees,
I
I'd
would
call
say-
it professional assistance or professional
Yeah, the word-
consulting or something.
I'd say, well,
Consultant services.
you're paying, you sugarcoating what
I
you're
would,
doing.
no, I think professional services,
Consultant services. one of the other.
something like that, yeah. So if we bring over fees and surety, that allows it being in the bylaw a lot.
Right.
It gives you
Well, what's been happening with the planning board is of certain things we have no teeth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Things are happening, and there's no recourse. There's nothing that we can do.
Yeah.
And it hurts
Okay.
the movement going forward of certain things, if you know what I mean.
So,
Yeah, it's work to do it, but in the long term, I think it protects the town.
all right. So let's add old section
So you're gonna roll over section 13 and 14.
13 to 14.
Yeah, but
And
we're
that-
just gonna
I would-
change the terminology on section 13.
Yep. And I would probably move that in where it is right, similar to now, right under,
Under appeals.
yeah, under,
Between severability.
in
Okay.
between those two.
Okay.
Okay, so it does specifically say the planning board may, it doesn't say shall. So if somebody comes in with a small application, they don't have to
Right,
start
right.
getting into all this
Yep.
stuff.
What about 15?
15 is already covered because it's already in the other section.
Yeah, there's just a little bit more beefy, so it was pretty good.
With the same verbiage?
Mostly, ours is,
Okay.
ours is,
Ours
Alright.
is slimmed.
As long as you think so, we're gonna get rid of 15 then.
Yep.
On ours, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Oxford's, that's good.
Yeah.
I like the language at the end of that.
I think that's gonna be cleaner.
Do we need to go over the definitions?
yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Save
can look
that
at
for later.
definitions.
Yeah, it should, but it flows nice with everything that we just went over.
All right. So this is definitions is section 3, right? The new section 3.
Taking agricultural use from ours.
Let's see what we have in here. I want to see if there's any,
Which is gonna be the new section 3.
Right.
Ours. Definitions.
I mean, they don't unnecessarily define some things, like owner, person, applicant. Like, it's kind
Yeah.
of stupid if we do that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty clear.
Right?
Or
This one does define person,
yeah.
but, you know, whatever. It's not the worst thing. So we want to include agricultural.
We need to.
I think so.
Do we need to?
Cited in the exemptions.
Is it, yeah,
you see what it's written?
Is it cited in the exemption?
The definition.
Yeah,
On
land and agricultural use.
Yeah, because you have a MGL.
Which one are we looking at? Where am I looking?
All right, so they're exempt, so leave it in there then.
Yeah, we gotta take that one
Okay.
over.
Yeah,
No, that's,
so bring over A.
you're talking about D, that's not
Oh.
agricultural.
Oh.
That's,
It's in the exemption.
It's an exemption?
Yeah, it's in the
Agricultural use.
of the Uxbridge bylaws listed
it's
exemption
an
number
exemption,
2.
so,
Yep.
Okay.
yeah.
So we gotta take
All right.
that one.
Yeah,
Alter.
I don't see it in theirs.
Yeah. We're gonna add.
So Walter's gonna stay the same, that doesn't change.
Mhm.
Do we need applicant? Is that just kinda,
That's
we don't need it, right?
No.
So we'll just get rid of that.
better site design. Really?
So on the altar, I think Uxbridge is pretty much the same exact.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
took
we,
it
yeah, we
from-
took it over. So we're gonna leave all Oxbridges.
Yeah, it's the same. We pulled it from
So will someone take that, Margaret, you would probably know that better, when someone says, will measurably change the ability of ground surface area to absorb water, somebody cuts somebody's clearing some cutting firewood and cutting wood down, they're gonna say that the trees that you cut down changed it because it absorbs water. Pulls
It
all
could.
that. I know, that's what you gotta think of before.
The real world.
Well,
right, yeah.
it's because now the sun gets to you cut down the trees, now the sun can get to your surface water, right? And now you're changing,
Yeah, but the trees pull a lot of water, so if you cut the trees down, you're changing
Yeah.
changing the measurably change, because measurably is
well, that's open.
wide open.
Yeah, I don't know, I read that thing and I just thought that was a little more confusing than it had to be.
We took that out originally, we scratched that out of one previous Saturday item.
Yeah, which measurably change the ability of the ground surface to absorb water.
We had scratched that out and we changed it to, we added in the,
The other term.
it was in, yeah,
And under like when we had in disturbance or something?
disturbance, yes, I think it was disturbance, yes.
I think
That's what we did, yes, action to alter or disturb existing vegetation and underlying soil of the site.
Yeah,
We-
yeah,
We eliminated that or, you said get rid of the or.
yeah.
So do we take our, do we take what we said for disturbance
I think we.
and make disturbance the
Alter,
alternate
yes.
definition?
I think that would be,
So-
only because I think I know how it can be taken in.
So we would remove what the definition of alter is, and then just add in using the definition of disturbance.
Yes.
Disturbance.
So getting rid of alter.
No, we're gonna keep it.
Okay.
We're gonna take the wordage out,
Okay.
so the words out of it, and we're gonna use the wording of the definition of disturbance.
Okay.
So the word alter to us is gonna be
Okay.
disturbance
Right.
Okay.
definition.
Got it.
It'll be cleaner.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
This one has a few more. It adds hotspot, illicit connection.
Mhm.
Hotspots related to the map, right?
Yep.
So,
It's better site design. What is that?
Better site design. I think that's just, I think it's trying to appeal to,
Isn't that low impact developments, isn't that
I
the
think
same?
that's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it, that's,
We don't have
Yeah, it's
either.
practices, right?
what's better, and I think they have the best management practices,
No.
which is, gets into that.
So we don't have enforcement order on here.
Do you gotta define what the enforcement order is?
It gives the ability to issue an order.
So you wanna take that term over?
We don't have anything in here that gives us the ability to issue an order. It's just a fine. It's not an order or stop work order. It's like a cease and desist, I guess.
Yeah.
So on the definition,
I thought I'd read that somewhere else in
And
are
enforcement,
we gonna keep on our definitions applicant and owner?
no, we don't need those.
Yeah, under enforcement,
No.
I think that, isn't that similar in that, under the enforcement section, I think.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that
Planning board
There
is
is issue a written enforcement order, so
Yeah.
we should take that over. It's in there.
It's already it's in the Uxbridge one, correct?
Right.
So we,
Because it says person, Mike, it's person, an individual, group, organization, corporation.
The problem is this, when you have different entities involved in a project.
Yep. But it says, it's legal representative agent or assignee, right? So it's tying that is the person, quote, the person. It covers all of that as the owner.
So aren't we gonna eventually have stormwater application?
Mm-hmm.
And that will come into the owner and then the applicant on that application. Do we have to spell it out in the bylaws?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what were you saying?
That's why I'm asking that, it
Yeah.
should stay there.
I just wanna make sure I'm following.
Yeah.
So you're not
Over
bringing,
this,
you're not,
right?
because it's already addressed, the enforcement orders are already addressed in the Uxbridge one, we're not carrying anything over from this one?
Should carry the definition of enforcement order into the Uxbridge bylaw.
Yeah, bring that over.
Okay, 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 I see what you're saying, yes,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
But we're
Thank-
saying,
thank you.
but we don't need to define the applicant, right? Because that's
Right.
gonna be in the permit application.
Okay.
So we don't need that here.
Okay. So the enforcement order.
Now, on the one thing,
New development.
That's the plan. New development, okay, any construction, alteration exceeding one.
in the bylaw, I'll throw this out here. So an applicant comes in, all of a sudden they change their address. Is there any enforcement or notice that they must notify us of any changing of address? And if not, is there a penalty involved? Reason being is, we've had it.
Yeah, it's
Where-
condition.
Applicant ABC lives in street 123.
Mhm.
In 3 months, he moves to street 789.
Mhm.
He doesn't tell nobody. We're trying to do correspondence. We're trying to get a hold of him, and there's nothing there.
There
All of a
is-
sudden, there's no teeth, no nothing that can be done because
Mhm.
there's nothing written in a bylaw stating that you must maintain a current listing during the time of a project.
True. We do put it in our standard conditions.
Yeah, but there's no teeth to it. And this is where we're going back to the teeth.
So,
Yeah.
So something should be put in there that if you have a permit or during the time of a disturbance,
So-
you must maintain a current means of contact.
that's gonna be in the regs.
I think that's good in the regs
You
too.
put it in the
Makes
regs,
sense.
and what you do say is that, you know, your permit may be revoked, right? Because if we're trying to communicate to you.
Issued to the applicant, non-transferable, something like that.
Yeah, something
Well,
like that.
this is where the applicant and the owner, how do we go here? So if you have an applicant,
Yep,
which I understand the applicant isn't always the owner.
true. I agree.
So do you mandate it where the owner and the applicant must at all times maintain
Yeah.
a means of communication throughout a project? Because
Owner's agent.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
that's
a lot
right.
of times,
That's
we're,
how it's worked.
Yeah.
literally, we're trying to get a hold of people and we can't do it.
No, no, I
You can
know.
go
The
certified?
Owner or own agent.
Correct.
On a permit, that's usually what it says.
So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
can that be and where should that be put though?
That's gonna be in the rules.
In the rules and
Regs.
regulations.
It has to be
And
there.
the
Should
other
it?
thing-
Is there
Yeah.
enough teeth in that?
You can't put it in
I
here
think so.
because it's,
Yeah, absolutely.
because what you're gonna do is you're gonna say that you, on the rules and regs, that you're gonna revoke, your permit could be revoked because of that.
Yeah.
You know, we can't, you know what I mean? And then, it wouldn't be in the bylaw section about that, because it never is.
It's an application process.
It's an application process.
Right, which I understand, but it's something that needs to get brought up.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no, I think we
We'll definitely
gotta,
put it in
we
there, for
brought it up and beefed up.
Yeah.
One-
We gotta beef it up.
Question that, you probably know this, but you would probably know this better than I. You were just talking about the enforcement order being put into the bylaw. Would that enforcement order be better placed into the rules and regulations?
There'll be more information on the enforcement order in the regs, like what we can and can't do with it, and when we can issue it.
It's just a definition that we're adding in.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, I'm just thinking, because you want to make this, again, palatable
Yeah.
for the people that read it, the
Yeah.
bylaw. And I
Yeah.
think you address that stuff in the rules and regs. That
Correct.
necessarily isn't so harsh in the bylaw that you're looking at stuff, so that's,
Yep.
that's my
Makes
own.
sense.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that with the definition that we wrote up in here was really good, just a written issued by the planning board, or the reviewing agent.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it's pretty,
Authority.
yeah, what the enforcement order would be.
So we're on our new development definition.
Yep.
Is where we are. Do we like hours? More, because we really worked on that, and we'll bring hours over into the Uxbridge one. So we're gonna get to new development and redevelopment
Yeah.
again.
Well, I think we took, new development. I don't, well, here's the thing, I don't think, we don't have to, in our old one, we talked about 1 acre, blah, blah, blah. All that's out the window because it's one of your exemptions.
Yeah.
But we could bring it over, because we're gonna,
I think, I don't wanna confuse things, but this is actually addressed in the MS4 permit. It has a definition for both of those. So I don't know, we're gonna have to comply with that, I'm assuming.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
All right, I'll just
I'll do
put
it.
comply with this four.
Yeah.
So it says, I'll read it to you, I have it.
yeah.
So we're not bringing new development over?
I think it's gonna, I think if we bring it over, it's gonna get changed. I think that the council's gonna throw it out. Not throw it out, but I think they're gonna say you have to, because it's defined in the MS4 permit.
I'll look it up.
So we don't need to redefine it, that's what they're
Yeah,
gonna say?
yeah,
Oh, okay,
and I
got
think,
it.
and I think when we cover the exemptions in here, we're already covering that it's greater than an acre.
Mhm.
That's gonna trigger you.
It's almost the same language, but I think the total has to stay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Pre and
so we're
post
getting rid of new
development.
development.
Pre and post, were they both the same?
Yeah, we pulled those from
Okay.
our other, right?
Yep.
We didn't define planning board, but do we need to?
No, we did the fine planning board, because it's,
So pre and post, that's staying or leaving?
We pulled it from this one
yep.
in
Or keep
ours,
it.
so that's staying as is.
Okay,
Recharge.
and then redevelopment, okay, that's,
That's the other one that I'm gonna verify.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And actually, the Uxbridge one actually says,
Here is what it says here, nice little book. It just says, there's the both of the verbiage on it.
Can you screenshot that and
Sure.
send it to me?
okay.
It's actually page 6 of the minutes.
Okay, this is, I think that's the last definition. Oh. Huh?
I don't even know my own phone.
Okay.
So we're gonna be eliminating a lot of our extra definitions we don't need.
Yes.
And we're just gonna pretty much stay with the Uxbridges, except for the ones we spent some time on.
Yeah, yeah, the ones that we pulled over that we
Okay.
tweaked up. Because everything else is,
Just gave that to the world.
yeah, no, I know, I was like, I think just floated that out there. All right, are we good, you think, for the first pass on this?
It's gonna work fine, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
All right.
Any definitions? You gotta pull our professional engineer definition over. That's not on there.
Yeah. What is a PE?
Yeah.
Yes, please, that's another one that has to be added. And that will make it cleaner because we wanted the PE
Yep.
over here. Okay.
So, on the pollutants, if we go on Uxbridge,
You got pollutants?
on the pollutants, yeah. See a very
Yep,
double
yeah,
thing.
yep.
They have fertilizers in there, and pesticides. I think the verbiage should be beyond normal usage. Because you could get somebody say, well, that means you can't do anything whatsoever. Or am I wrong on thinking that? Or are we just talking about strictly
I think.
terminology and not quantity
I
and
think
how it's used?
the intent of that is that,
If-
so you're not having direct running of all that material
Correct,
going into the river.
correct.
That or you're not spraying a farm, right, with fertilizer and everything else that's then running into the stormwater drains right down the river.
Oh, well, that's how the farmers do it.
Yeah, I know, but
Right,
they're,
when
but they're
you
under,
spray
they're
manure and
under
all
their
that.
own set of regulations
they
for
are.
all that.
So they'd be
that-
exempt.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'd be exempt from
Yep.
that.
I just leave that alone.
Okay.
So, all right, I think we'll be good.
I'll get
Get
this
the updates.
ready, and then we'll also invite Nick, I'll send this to Nick.
Yep.
So Nick can look at it, and he'll be invited to our next meeting.
So,
That'd be great.
the other thing just to share here is that, two towns, Matt knows of, I think, two other ones, but the town of Sutton and town of Charlton both adopted a town-wide blanket,
Yes.
and they're both dealing with a lot of, heartburn over it.
I also heard Auburn did too,
Yeah,
right?
they did.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so was Natick was another one?
Yeah, Natick did
Natick.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got 4 towns that did town-wide blankets that are now trying to figure out how
Alone
to
in that.
unring the bell.
Yeah, anyone building a single-family home disturbing over an acre has to apply for one.
Correct.
It's,
Yeah.
So I mean,
All right.
that's why this is so important.
This is
Like I
good.
said to him, this out.
So what does happen at 30
Yeah.
Front Road?
Good stuff. All right.
like I took down so many trees.
All right.
Behind the house?
We're good.
Like 80.
So we're gonna try to have a full board.
Gotta come in.
Yeah, we should have that after the holiday. This is
Because he still
Almost a
has
holiday
the
week.
It is,
replication
yeah,
area
no, no,
Um,
that's,
down in the
thank
front.
you.
We tried to
Yep.
avoid
We're
taking
guys in
that
our place
tree.
at the
Yeah.
rock.
all right.
And I met him
Wanted
a
to,
couple of months ago.
You want to adjourn?
No, minutes.
Minutes. Okay.
Gotta go through the minutes.
So all the
Okay.
trees were up in the back, was it in the wetlands?
He took a lot of.
Are we good with-
outside of his area.
October
I'm getting
20th.
back there, I'm going
Outside,
from,
Yeah, it's not good.
and Matt, you wanna look up the specifics, or do you want me to call you in with that book number?
so he's gonna come
I
in.
I can look those up for sure.
Okay,
Okay.
So I guess I'm gonna put the,
so we have minutes from
Replication, on
28th,
hold,
they were in our,
Yep.
Oh, I do have one. He's
Folder?
got one
Yep.
RDA, so I'm gonna look at those. Minutes, what do we got?
Good. Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of October 28th, that's what I had.
second that.
All right. Motion's made by Colin here, second by Mike Zwigger. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Deal.
And we're gonna meet again on
The next meeting is
December,
Number 9.
December 9th.
yeah,
Okay.
still at 5?
Yeah.
Yep.
December 9th.
I'm good with that.
Good deal. All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Mike, second by Colin. All in favor?
Aye.
Mike?